Now to the crisis in Ukraine and the confrontation between Russia and the West. The State Department has issued a travel warning, urging Americans to defer non-essential travel to Ukraine and to defer all travel to Crimea, eastern Ukraine, and nearby Russia. Russian troops continue to mass on the Ukrainian border, and the U.S. is warning Moscow that further aggression will lead to more and tougher sanctions. This as President Obama prepares to depart for Europe and talks with U.S. allies on the crisis. Mark Albert is in our Washington bureau with more. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, Vanita. The State Department has indeed issued that travel warning, urging Americans to avoid southern and eastern Ukraine. This comes as 20,000 Russian troops now stretch along nearly the entire Ukrainian border, with some as close as about 30 miles away. Despite the Russian tanks and tactical aircraft converging near the Ukrainian border, Russia's defense minister told U.S. Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel the movements are just part of an exercise with no intention of invading Ukraine.
Given their past practice and the gap between what they have said and what they have done, we are watching it with skepticism.
National Security Advisor Susan Rice said the U.S. was reassessing its relations with Russia in light of the annexation of Crimea and the recent troop buildup, which is twice the size of what Russia first announced.
This is obviously a very worrying and fragile situation, but we have been very much admiring of the posture that the Ukrainian people and government have taken. They have exercised enormous restraint.
President Obama is due to meet with the other G7 countries in The Hague Monday at the start of a week-long international trip, with Ukraine front and center.
The United States is leading the international community in supporting the government of Ukraine and the people of Ukraine and in imposing costs on Russia.
White House Press Secretary Jay Carney warned future sanctions would further harm the Russian people, who are already being impacted, according to the Treasury Department's David Cohen.
Everybody who has a bank receipt, Visa or MasterCard tried to use it today, transactions are denied. There are whatever accounts that they have with U.S. financial institutions, those accounts are frozen.
U.S. Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel told his Ukrainian counterpart yesterday the United States is actively reviewing Ukraine's request for non-lethal military equipment and materials.